4 women in a van headed for Michigan for almost a week. What can I say? Everybody was told not to bring much, but you know how women are. Everybody pushed the limit. And we squeezed everything into Cindy's car. And we grumbled at each other a little bit why we did that. But before we leave town, we have made it a practice to go to the coffee pot here in Greenville and have a chai tea latte, a scone, or something to eat before we get out of Dodge. And if we've forgotten anything, it gives us another opportunity to go over our list and make sure we haven't forgotten anything. If we do, we'll go back and get it if we can get it in the car. We love the coffee pot. It's a great place. And their products are good. And we especially love their chai tea latte with extra spice. On the way up to Michigan, we stopped in Marshall, Michigan, and had lunch at Winschuler's, a historic restaurant. And then once we got to Glen Arbor, where we were staying, they'd had a storm, but we found one restaurant that had electricity, and we had dinner there. This is the map of the peninsulas. Look at all those wineries we have to take in. This guy wasn't selling wine, he was selling spirits, but he was a great bartender. We bought stuff from him and had a good time with him. He even took our picture. This is Fishtown. There's some shopping there. It's a nice area. If you've never been there, make sure you put Fishtown on your list. Shopping, wineries, breweries, the lake. It's a great little area. Aurora Winery. That was the first winery we hit. Our weather was perfect, and so was the wine. This was another winery that we stopped at, and we did a tasting. We each did a flight. It's a very attractive winery. And here's our wine. You can see what our wine preferences are. If you like dry wine, Michigan might not be for you, but those that like sweet and semi-sweet, their Rieslings are fabulous. After we had some wine, we had our picture taken with Mr. Ed. Look at all the netting on the grapes because it's close to harvest. They're trying to keep the birds away. But there's lots of vineyards up there. Most of them were covered with the netting. This was our next stop, and as you can see, we decided we should do another flight. And at some point during our vacation, we always have pizza one night for dinner. This was our pizza night. This is the home we rented. It was a VBRO. It was beautiful in Glen Arbor. Nice outside area. The living room was a little small. The seating wasn't all that comfortable, but we made it work. And we don't cook on vacation, so the kitchen wasn't that important to us. As long as we could get stuff in the refrigerator, we were good. It had an outside shower, but none of us used it. Jody had the upstairs loft. I had one of the bedrooms downstairs. Cindy drew the master suite. And Carla got the porch with a bed or a futon. So we each had our own bedroom, which was great because we did a lot of shopping and we could stash our stuff in there while we were there. This is Haystacks. The ladies did a lot of shopping here, spent a lot of money. Two Lads is a beautiful winery. It's at the tip of the peninsula, and you can see for miles. I also like their Riesling a lot. More wine. We were there during the pandemic, and there was nobody there. Cindy and I have been there before when it wasn't the pandemic, and you wait in line for an hour to get a tasting. And their tastings are tiny little sips. And you have to stand up. Unless there's outdoor seating, then you can sit down. This is Peninsula Winery in an old school. It's probably my favorite of the wineries. I love their Riesling, and they make a great homemade root beer. And since it's in a school, an old school, they carry that theme throughout. We had a lot of fun there. They're great. More wine. They twisted our arm, so we had to get some. We already knew we liked their wine. As you can tell, we spent quite a while at the Peninsula Winery. Then we went to the Jolly Pumpkin for dinner. It was packed and it was good. This is a glimpse of downtown Traverse City. Lots of shopping in Traverse City. Something for everyone. Lots of fabulous restaurants, too. During the pandemic, a lot of the restaurants were carry-out only because they count on their help coming in the summer from European countries. And the pandemic canceled that, so many of them you just had to get carry-out. But we did find some that were open. We also spent a little time in Elk River, which is a charming little town. It's very little, but it's nice. Has some nice shops. It's on the water. It's on the way to Charlevoix and Petoskey. And I have a cousin that lives there. This flower shop is in Petoskey, and Cindy fell in love with it. Of course, Cindy fell in love with Petoskey and the shopping. There's tons and tons of shopping there, too. Expensive, but nice stuff. And great restaurants. One of the trips we made to Petoskey, we ate in a wine cellar because they had overbooked. It was a great experience with great food. This is Tom's Mom's Cookies in Harbor Springs, and this gentleman with us was wearing a kilt, and he said it was the real deal, nothing underneath. Oh my. We decided we had to have our picture taken with him. We did wait a long time to get cookies at Tom's Mom's Cookies. I think they were like $24 a dozen. They were expensive. But if you go to Harbor Springs, you have to get the cookies. After waiting in line, we decided we need to get dinner. So we found a place to eat in Harbor Springs. We met a couple that told us about a great place to get pot pies, the kind with the crust, like a chicken pot pie. So we drove an hour and a half to get there in the rain, and when we got there, they had just sold out. So these pictures are on the way home, and the sky was such a vivid pink. Absolutely beautiful. So we're headed to Charlevoix in this picture. Charlevoix is famous for the mushroom homes. There's several of them there. These are a couple of them. It's a darling little town. We've never spent much time there, but it's on our bucket list. This is downtown Charlevoix. And if you look very carefully, in just a minute, you're going to see a couple stopping on the corner in front of a big sign with a lady embraced in a kiss. How romantic. What a beautiful place. And we're headed home, back to Glen Arbor for the day. As I mentioned, lots of fabulous restaurants. This was probably one of the best breakfasts I've ever had, and that was in Glen Arbor. Can't remember the name of the restaurant. Glen Arbor is a great place to stay. It's far enough away from Traverse City. It's like a little village. It's got shopping there. It's got a winery there. It's got Arts Tavern there, which we really like. And Cherry Republic is there. Traverse City is the cherry capital, and their products are fabulous. Their dried cherries are wonderful. And they make cherry everything. If you go up there, you'll come home with cherry stuff. We did. We were there the middle of October, and the shops were getting ready to close for the season. So we got a lot of great deals, a lot of closeouts. And Jody really cleaned up. She came out of there with 2 bags full. There's lots of little tiny towns on the coast, up on the peninsulas. All of them with shopping, all of them fun to visit. And there's wineries there. Where we stayed was just a stone's throw from the water, so we could hear it at night when we were sleeping. And the water was gorgeous. As you can see, this color is just absolutely beautiful. Well, we've come to the end of our video, and we thank you for sticking through. This was a long one. And just like everybody else, and when you go home from vacation, it's hard to get everything packed back in. And we always have that issue, thinking we're not going to get it all in the car, but somehow we do. We had a safe trip, beautiful trip back to Ohio. I hope you go check it out. If you've never been there, you will be in for a treat. It's wonderful. So we hope to run into you on the Backroads. This is Jan and Cindy on the Backroads, signing off. Please like our page and follow us on YouTube. Good night.